welcome back to another episode of Chocolate and Spice Talk. I'm Nidhi, the chatty host, and today we are talking about something that's very close to my heart: fitness, exercise, and what it really means to build strength.
Hi, I'm Neha, the quieter host. When most people think of working out, they picture a classic gym workout, counting reps, lifting heavy, and chasing that ideal body. But what if the real transformation doesn't show up in the mirror first?
And in this episode, we'll go over our workout plans and what we do on a day to day basis to build strength and fitness. And basically, we'll be talking about our experience and what serves us. We are not coaches or any, fitness experts. This is just us sharing our
Yeah.
experience.
And that's what we do in this podcast. We share whatever we know and we've experienced and hope it helps others. And we would love to listen from you as well. So, with that, Nidhi, I want to start with you because we both know you are the one who's really into fitness and have been for a really, really long time, which is really, inspiring. So, can you talk a bit more about what does working out mean to you now when compared to a few years back?
From what I remember, I don't know if you'll agree to this, but I think I was always a very active person. As a kid, I was always jumping rope or biking or walking, climbing things, and that was my happy place. But when I moved to college, that was like 4 years of just classes, deadlines, social life, which was very active at that time. And then I stopped moving intentionally. There was no like workout, any structured way of how I was moving my body. I didn't play any sports, and then came my master's, and that was a different kind of a social life. That was a lot of happy hours and eating out. And that was my first wake up moment when I felt that I was still in my 20s, but nothing felt right. I mean, I had this feeling inside me. It's like, why do I feel so sluggish? Where is my energy going? And at that time, I started doing a lot of cardio and running because I didn't know anything better. And I was still not feeling very well. But at that time, I was very fortunate that I discovered a community of women who were doing a specific program called Beach Body Guide. And I think that this was like 10, 12 years back. And this was a time when this was a growth of these workout programs, especially catered towards women. And they had the programs that were broken down in upper body, lower body, full body. And there were groups around it. There were like groups of women doing the same kind of workouts. And we would encourage each other, keep each other accountable. And that's when I started my Instagram account, which was just a fitness account long time back. And we would use hashtag like accountability buddy or beach body guide workout, and we would find each other like-minded people and so on. And one funny story on this, the Neha, I don't know if you remember, I was living in Bay Area, and there was a workout event where Jiraji, that is my brother-in-law, he dropped me to a workout class, which was outdoor. And you had told me this later, and you had asked me that my brother-in-law asked, like, has Nidhi joined a cult or something? They were like bunch of women in their workout outfit working out together. But it was not a cult, it was a boot camp where everybody in that community who was doing the same program, we got together and we were just trying to do this fitness thing together. And then on my journey, when I got comfortable with body weight workouts, I was like, oh, maybe I can up my game. And then the same workout had different levels, and the other level was uh, adding few weights like 5 pound, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, and just experimenting and seeing how my body responded. And one thing that has been consistent throughout my journey is that I always learned every all kind of workouts through apps or workout programs, and never really had a personal trainer. So again, to each their own. I know you can learn faster and better with a trainer who helps you with your form, but I just paid attention to the instructions in the app, and that served me, that helped me, and I was able to go into the details. I was able to ask help whenever needed. There were a lot of YouTube videos that I utilized to understand what does engaging a core mean, what does engaging your glutes mean, and so on. And then later I discovered yoga through Yoga with Adriene YouTube videos, and that taught me about balance, recovery, connecting to my body. And now I do yoga a couple of times a week. So throughout these 10 years, I consistently did body weight workouts, strength workouts at this stage of my life. One thing that has become a very big part of my exercise routine is mobility. When I was younger, I could just roll out of bed and just do any workout and I was fine, but not anymore. I mean, first 15 minutes of my any workout is just stretching, activating my muscles and warming up my joints. And as you reach your 30s and 40s, research does show that mobility becomes one of the most important component of overall fitness. It supports joint health and prevents injuries. So in my mind, it is all about longevity. So I'm setting myself up for success by including all of these warm-ups and all of these techniques of stretching, which was not a part of my workouts like earlier when I was in my 20s. So all I can say is right now I'm obsessed with like weight training in my home gym. Again, not a gym like a real gym person, but home gym serves me very well. All right, that is a little bit about how my workout routine has changed from my 20s to 30s and so on. What about you?
Yeah, for me, yeah, you'd asked earlier, were you an active child? I can confirm you were a very active child. You were a very outdoorsy person from the get-go. Me, as you know, I was always a very quiet child, but I was a very conscious child. Now that I think back to myself, like I was a very mindful and conscious child. And I, and a dad's a doctor, so he used to have all of these medical books, and I was very much into reading. So I remember when I turned 13 or 14, it occurred to me that I should start thinking about health. And you were too young then, but what I used to do, even as early as young as 15, I used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and there was no way for me to understand what exercise means. There were no YouTube channels, and I'm talking 30 years back,
Hmm.
right? At the very least 30 years back.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were a teenager. Yes.
Three, yeah, 30 years back. So no YouTube, no nothing, there was no way for me to understand what real exercising is. All I had was a skipping rope and some understanding of whatever they taught in school, like jumping jacks and things like that. So I used to wake up in the morning. I used to jump rope like 100, 500, I don't know, and a lot of times. And the idea was to stay as active as I possibly could, because after that I had a full day of school and all of that. And then I was very mindful of what I ate. So that's how I would try to be active, because I was never a sportsy or an athletic person. But similar to what you said, once I started college, because I was in engineering maybe, and because I felt like I had to, study more than do anything else, I just gave up on the thought of exercising or being active at all. The most I would do is walk a bit, and completely lost it. And from that period onwards, so probably from the time I was 18 or 19 all the way up to after having my son in my 20s, I wasn't exercising. I really just wasn't exercising at all, or was mindful about exercising. And after having my son, I had some health challenges, and it occurred to me that I should do something. Uh, One thing I will add is that I just didn't know what was the right activity for me. So immediately after having my son, I never had, like, it was not about losing weight or gaining weight. For me, it was really like trying to get fit, but I just didn't know what to do. And I probably exercised wrong. Like right after giving birth, you don't want to push your stomach muscles too hard and things like that. And I didn't feel good. And so I stopped again. And then I stopped again for a very long time. So truly, I started exercising much, much later, maybe in my early 30s. And that was more consistent, where I would like figure out a 15 minutes plan of whatever my source of exercising was. It was typically aerobics kind of exercise, where I would jump around or like dance or things like that. It was only towards my late 30s that I realized I need muscles. I'm a very small bone person, as you know, and so it is also very important for me to protect my bones and therefore build muscles accordingly. So that's when I started going deeper. And of course, I was very inspired by your journey. And then and you used to always talk about lift weights and so on. And my son, as he grew older, he was like, lift weights, and I'm like, okay, lots of people are telling me. So I did get dumbbells and things, and I started lifting weights. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is I had a very meandering journey, no specific plan, and it would really be based on my own body, like what is my body telling me, which may or may not have been the right thing. But come early 40s, I've become far more focused, which is I will spend sometime in the morning to stretch and then sometime in the evening to do some sort of strength training or walk. Like I really strongly believe in walking, so I literally can walk at any point the whole day. And then just some basic squats and leg exercises. So that's where I am right now. I'm not into one kind of exercise. Like it's not like I do yoga a lot or strength training a lot or run a lot, but just like move around across based on whatever my body's telling me.
And one thing is also awareness. I think we talk about awareness throughout the episode because your journey is so different than mine. Like you had your son in your early 20s, and then you started working out because you just wanted to feel better, but there wasn't much awareness about the stomach muscles or the core, like how it breaks, how you have to engage it and how you have to make it better. So by the time I got pregnant, which was in my early 30s, there was awareness around it, like how do you uh, change your workout routine when you're pregnant or after pregnancy, which awareness you didn't have. And now your son Aryan, who is in college, who still exercises. Like we both didn't exercise throughout our college years because we didn't know any better. There wasn't a concept of gym when I was in my college, right? So it's like hopefully every other generation learns something and does something better for the health and wellness.
I agree. I think this awareness has definitely already started improving in general health for the next generation, and we can definitely learn. Like our moms didn't know they have to build strength or they have to build muscles, but we are already aware and we are already working towards it. And also we lead a very sedentary lifestyle, unlike at least our mom, who is still extremely active and lifts very heavy just by virtue of doing the household work, which we don't have to do a lot of. We sit 8 hours a day, and it's not a lot of running around. So I think we need that extra effort to compensate for the lack of general mobility that our parents enjoyed. But of course, yeah, concentrated workout is also helpful. So I was wondering, like you mentioned, you have reached a certain stage and a certain understanding about exercising. How do you challenge your body right now?
So I love structure in life with anything. And so I follow these workout plans. And for a very long time, I just followed the standard do 12 repetitions, 12 rep, 3 rep, 5 rep. And that gave me structure, which worked very well. And I was building endurance, but I felt that I'm not getting stronger. And that's when I started really understanding the difference between endurance, stamina, and strength. So endurance is your ability for your body to be able to do something for a long period of time. Like you can run a couple of miles, you can do lighter weight exercises, but you can do it for longer, like many number of reps. Stamina is actually when that's a mix of endurance and energy. How long can you sustain effort while still performing very well? Strength is totally different. Strength is how much force your muscles can produce. It is what is built when you lift heavier or you push your body till fatigue. So that understanding really helped. Plus, a couple of years back, your son, my nephew Aryan, he had told me something to me that really stuck. And he said, Nidhi Mosi, I see that you're doing a lot of reps, but I can see that you're not lifting heavier. And honestly, at that time, I was like, what does a teenager know about building strength? And I was like, brush it off. But now, but now I completely understand how right he was because I was not lifting heavier, and that is a rectification that I've done now. That now I lift heavier. So even if, let's say, the workout says you have to do 12 repetitions of something, what I do is I lift a heavier weight. I might not be able to do 12 reps. I'm only able to reach 8 or 10, but I'm able to do it with a good form until my muscles are fatigued. So that really helps. And then the same thing is if the workout says that you have to do 12 reps, but if I'm able to go on till 15 or 20, till my body genuinely cannot push anymore, that is how I'm building strength. So basically, I'm breaking some rules to be able to build strength because you understand your body the most. And physiologically too, like if this is how the muscle fiber grows, like you push yourself beyond a comfort zone and you create tiny tears in your muscle tissue by lifting heavier, and then when those fibers actually repair, is that's how you build strength. And then you might agree with me on this. It's like when we talk about aging, I truly believe that the only thing really anti aging is strength training. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of products and there is cosmetic fixes and Botox and fillers and all of those things that you can do, but none of them can do what lifting actually does. And you touched on it. Like science also strength says that strength training preserves the muscle mass that women lose faster than men. And then once we do strength training, our energy level goes up, our metabolism increases, and so on. So I think I do want to believe that this is one of the best way to remain youthful and do the best for your body. So I truly believe this is the best anti-aging hack. And I have nothing against like Botox and fillers. Maybe in 10 years time I will use some of these cosmetic fixes, but for now, lifting weights is gives me so much joy. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I don't think I absolutely I know I do not operate from the same ideas and concepts as you do. Um, I think what you said is right. Like in general, exercising, mobility, staying fit is helpful in maintaining our body and therefore uh, potentially anti-aging. I mean, are we going to look young forever? Of course not. Is our body going to look young forever? Of course not. But hopefully, we're going to be as healthy as we can be. For me, honestly, the thing that I'm challenging myself is not to break down. So I'm in my mid 40s, which is a very interesting age because unlike even when I was turning 40, where like cosmetic visual visuals of aging were visible, like okay, I started getting gray hair, like potential like wrinkles. So those were cosmetic, but I wasn't yet feeling the real thing about aging. And come mid 40s, and I started feeling it in my body. And maybe because I hadn't maintained my body, because I just thought this is like everything is going to be fine forever. But I have a very desk job, right? Like I work in tech. And so when you're working and you're not careful, you start getting pain. And when you're younger, you're like, you do this, and you're fine. But now I am not. It hurts like hell and it will not go away. It will not go away. And then you start wondering what happened to your life. And so my motivation has entirely changed. It is really so I don't feel pain. Like the primary reason is I don't feel pain. And what can I do to not feel pain? It is to build my muscles, especially my back muscles, my shoulder muscle. Like I said, I'm small bone. Like I like I'm thinner in terms of body composition, and so I don't have a lot of firmness. So I need to build that muscle and that structure that can carry me through my years, especially. I'm sorry, I have a cough. Especially because I have a desk job, and so that's why I do a lot of strength training, and not a lot, but considerably more strength training than before, and continuously try to increase my weights. And it has been very helpful. Like if anyone has these troubles that I'm talking about, like back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, first of all, there are very good YouTube videos that really help with that. Like there are good videos from physical therapists who talk about what should be done. Those exercises are helpful, but also lifting weight and being very careful about how you lift weight automatically stretches those muscles which forget to stretch over years. Like you sit in a certain way all your life and you're like, huh. And then one fine day, your body doesn't know how to go back and you're stuck. And so when you keep your body flexible, you don't have that problem. So I really try to focus on flexibility, building muscles, and mobility. Mobility means like constantly moving,
Mhm.
not sitting for more than an hour at a place, like getting up, walking around. For me, those three things work. But who knows what,
No, but
later
but
age
you're
will
right.
bring.
Mobility, that is so first of all, we both have very different body structure, right? Like you are petite, smaller shoulders. I am broader, and I have always been more. I don't know if muscular is the right term, but I have, yeah, I have been larger, let's say. as compared to you, like when you compare to people in a family. So that has been our body structure, and different things have worked for you. Like I have tried to push you my way so many times, but you stuck with what felt right for you. So every body type is different, right? Like we're just sharing experience, and I have learned through trial and error. I have tried so many different things, and now I've found what has stuck with me, and it has evolved throughout my age, and how my body and my hormones, and now we both are in perimenopausal stage. So as Miranda, during one of those perimenopause and menopause episodes, she talked about strength training, and that we truly see, like tracking the cycle and so on. One other thing, you talked about mobility, and this is something I learned from you. It's like one great thing about you and your fitness journey, or how you stay active, is you move a lot throughout the day. That is something that I don't do. And I've slowly realized that's not a good thing, because I wear my aura ring, and that's again goes back to tracking. It tells me that it's great that you're working out for 1.5 hour end of the day, but you are not consistently moving throughout the day. And it points out, it's like, oh, you had such a long period of non movement or non mobility, because I sit for a long time. I have my water beside me. I don't even get up, maybe just to pee or something, but I don't move, like walk or do like 10 or 12 squats or whatever that's recommended every 1 hour. And now I'm trying to break that cycle, which is harder, because I like my pattern. Like I wake up in the morning and I just do my whole day of work. I pick up Vikram and then I work out. But that's not helping my body at this stage. It would have been fine in my 20s, but now in my this perimenopausal stage, I am making an effort that every 1 or 2 hours I move, even if it just means like walking around the house, like not even stepping outside the house. I literally walk in the living room to bedroom and so on. And that has been a game changer for me too.
I 100% agree. And we've been talking a lot about, like our papa says,
Mhm.
health is wealth. Like every time we talk to him, he's like, that is core. He starts this our conversations with health is wealth. Take care of your health. And that is so true because I will tell you, maybe I train my body, or maybe that's what my body needs. If I sometimes forget and sit for 2 or 3 hours, like if I'm concentrating on something, I will not feel good. Like my tummy will not feel good. Something somewhere will hurt. Like sometimes my bones, when I get up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not able to stand straight. It's so weird. And so all of these are clear signs that body needs regular mobility. I mean, that's what our body has grown to become. So yeah, I totally agree. But how are you thinking about? I mean, you basically described how important for you health is.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Papa used to say health is wealth, from the very childhood, we have heard this floating around. And initially, I was like, all right, health is wealth, whatever. It did not make sense to me. But now I realize, you are only as happy and rich as your health,
Yeah,
or your kids' health, or your family's health.
yeah.
That is the most important thing. And that is what is wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is richness, right? And what does that really mean? That just means that this is something that money can't buy, but you can work towards, right? I mean,
Hmm.
this is something that you build by yourself. So for me, it is the like wealth is richness. And for me, richness is feeling strong, feeling well rested, having the people I love around me, building a community, and all of that I create for myself with or without money. So that is how I feel like this is my rich life. Like a couple of years down the line, this would be what I say is my rich life, like my health, my partner's health, my family's health, helping my kid understand the value of just keeping yourself active, and so that you keep yourself so well that you're not dependent on anybody else. Like what Ma says, she pays attention to her health through yoga, so that we both don't have to worry about, is she doing the right thing for her legs or herself. So yeah, that is all wealth is health means to me.
Agreed, agreed. And same for me. I mean, I you said it so beautifully. Nothing much to add except that, you know, often we forget that. Like it is
Yeah.
something I'm so glad, first of all, our papa keeps reminding us and we both talk about it a lot. But it's so easy to forget in our hustle. Like, we want to achieve a certain set of things, we want to do a certain set of things, and then we're like, oh, exercise and eating right could go, or sleeping well could fall through the cracks or be lower in priority. But every time you do that, your body will really revolt. And so you have to be very conscious about it. Yeah, I have similar thoughts pretty much. For when you were talking about walking around in the house, you'll find it super funny. So I know you have a treadmill. I don't have a treadmill or anything. I'm very weird that way because I love that you have all these gym equipments. My son also gets all that. And I'm one of those old school people. I'm like, no, I'm gonna use whatever I have. I have bought dumbbells, so now I have like range of dumbbells from 5 pounds to 7 to 10 to 15, all of that. But beyond that, I don't really have. And so in terms of walking, it's like one meeting gets over, I have some time. I'm literally walking on spot, like I set a timer and I walk, and my husband's like, you probably have reached LA by now. Because I, I walk the whole day in intervals and I walk constantly and very fast.
Mhm.
But and I'm not tracking anything. I have no idea if it does any good to my body, but I feel better. And that's very important for me because that's how I operate. If I'm feeling better, things are potentially better, because if I'm feeling worse, they're guaranteed to be bad. So I would
You
much
are very intuitive. And we have established them through a lot of our episodes. You are very intuitive. Like you are very in tune with your body. Like you listen. That's I think one of your superpower, whether it's gut or your mind or your this, you have the ability to really listen. So that's why you don't need things, artificial things like me to track it, because you just know that whatever you're doing is helping. Like I'm very dependent on data, which has its own pros and cons,
yeah,
but for you, whatever works.
yeah. Um, did you want to touch more about, what you've gained through consistent exercising in terms of your body? Like, obviously, exercise is highly associated in pop culture with looking a certain way, to your point, potentially anti-aging, fitting in certain type of clothes and stuff like that. How do you associate exercising, and what have you gained through it?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at me, we've talked so much about strength training and lifting weight, but when you look at me, I mean, I don't look like a person who has like six pack abs or super pumped or a super fit gym look. I'm just a normal person. But for me, it has not been about looking a certain way. I started this fitness journey because of how sluggish I felt. And for me, one thing that I really admire about keeping consistent like routine is that I've been able to keep a promise to myself. Like I wake up early to work out, or I'm able to squeeze in a workout after a full day of work. So it builds confidence. So it's like a proof that I can rely on myself. I'm dependable. And it's a version of myself that I'm very proud of because it's the one that shows up even when it's not convenient. So I mean, honestly, that is the best thing. It changes your headspace. I handle stress better, and I also feel that doing this is contagious. I'm able to inspire my friends. I'm able to inspire my husband to go work out now. My husband has a gym membership. He's more of a person who workouts with a trainer versus me who does a home workout. But I think through all of this, one thing that I've really gained is just self-esteem and confidence, which is doesn't matter of how I look or so on, but just the faith in myself. And that is something that I'm so proud of.
It's so beautifully put. The fact that, what you said, to trust yourself, to depend upon yourself, because you have proven to yourself for what, 10 plus years that you will exercise every single day, no matter what. That is incredible. I mean, how many people can say that about consistency? Like, that's like, if you can do that, you can do anything, is how I almost think about it. Yeah, for me as well, like, for me, the like, I can flip the story, as is usually the case with our stories. As you know, like, I've always been like narrow boned and thinner, at the thinner end of the spectrum. And so what I've always heard from the time I was a teenager and when I used to proactively try to exercise was, hey, you're so thin. Why do you need to exercise? Because, like, the general understanding, at least back then, I'm talking 30 years back, was you got to exercise to get thin. Like, thin body, thin body. I think you are already thin. What are you exercising for? But somehow I knew two things. One is it's good for health. And second, even to maintain a certain thing, you need to do something. And so that's been my thought. Like, no matter what anybody tells me, hey, you're getting thinner, hey, you don't need to do it, I will do what makes my body feel good. And I usually, that it may or may not be a problem in my life, but I tend to not listen to a lot of other folks. I will really try it on myself. Like, I love listening to folks, but I will filter it through my own understanding, my own situation, and my own context. Like I won't blindly take it, which is why, like, when you tell me, hey, why don't you try lifting weights and stretching before? I'm like, I tried it. It gives me tummy pain. So I'm not going to do it. And so I will try something else in my own way. And for this reason. So in my case, yes, I gotta get my shoulders to not hurt anymore. Okay, yeah, sure. If my arms can get firmer on account of it, perfect. Like I can wear sleeveless, great. But that is not the goal to do that, because as you age, you realize there are far bigger reasons on why you wanna exercise and be consistent. And also, I've really learned that from you. Um, if you make a habit of exercising or whatever you want to do consistently, it gives you the kind of joy that very few things give. That is, often people associate discipline with being shackled. On the other hand, discipline gives you the freedom to do other creative things because some parts are now decided for you. So you don't really have to worry about it. So that's something I've definitely learned from you. And so now every evening or every other evening, I spend time, like fixed time exercising, and then I will walk after eating or after sitting for too long. And so what I've gained there for through exercising is obviously maintaining my body composition, but also the consistent theme.
Yeah. I mean, it's again trial and error. Like I mean, even with nutrition, like you tried so many diets and you stuck with something because that felt
Yeah.
right. And so the same with the workouts. So again, to each their own.
Absolutely, yeah. And so basically what we're saying as we wrap up is that working out isn't just about what happens between, warm up and cool down. It's basically mirroring how you live.
Yeah, exactly. And for women too, we need to follow our cycle, or as we get older, we have different stages in our life, and if we are able to modify our workout based on how our body feels, whether it's follicular stage or luteal stage, or before period, after period, our hormone shifts. And I have been able to do that, and that is again a game changer. Like now I do all the heavy lifting in my stage, like after the period, when it's more my ovulation stage, when my energy level is very high, and that's what I do. And during my period time when I have low energy, I just stick with yoga or stretching. And this is the part, or the workout part, that we can control. But otherwise, work related, like professional life related, all of those are not in control. Like when my period will be on, I will be in a conference for the full week. I can't control that. I just have to hustle and do it. But this is a part that we can control, like sleep, working out during the hormonal changes of our life. And I would encourage everybody to maybe just pay attention to it, like track it. I know you're not big on tracking, but for me, my Aura Ring tracks it. I have a Clue app that tracks it. It kind of gives me information, and now I'm able to connect the dots and so on. So that has also been very helpful for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you've touched a really great point. For me, I have also discovered like certain things make me feel better during my periods than not. And so, for example, I'd much rather be more heavy on carb rather than protein during my periods, and that makes me feel so. I tend to lower my protein intake or reduce like considerably my protein intake during my periods. And similar to you, I would not lift heavy during my periods because I have tried it and my body doesn't feel good. Like I would get cramps and stuff. So I'd much rather do just normal walking, gentle exercising during my period. And before and after, I'm okay with most things. But during my period, I've learned like to follow a certain process to prevent the unfortunate, side effects we tend to get with period.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like taking back a control in the world where so much feels out of control. So, it's all about alignment and awareness. And that's what we are trying to do here.
Yep. Yep. Definitely not thinking about perfect abs because I never got that ever. I never got a flat tummy, and I've given up any hopes of getting a flat tummy. And I don't think that is important enough for me to go for. What is important for me, and hopefully for most people, is to really preserve our health because that's the key to being as happy as we can be.
All right. I think we covered most of the thing, right?
Absolutely. Well,
All
all
right.
right.
Thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, thank you to everybody who tuned in to our this episode of Chocolate and Spice Talk. As usual, we really love sharing, whatever we know with you, and we'd love to hear from you. There are various ways in which you can contact us. We have our Instagram account, Chocolate and Spice Talk. We also have a website, chocolateandspicetalk.com, where we share a lot of the behind the scenes photos and details about our lives in blog posts.
Bye for now.
Bye.